We did it. What does that say? Live book club meeting with 2 slightly unhinged domestic violence advocates who will probably get off topic, but it'll be a good time. Be kind, and that's all.
And...
dot, dot, dot. And that's a threat.
I guess we'll do the intro for YouTube.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
And I'm Tori.
And we work for the River Valley Shelter, and this is a live recording on our TikTok end.
Yes.
For our book club, and we're going to be discussing Grown by Tiffany Jackson. It was a super good read. We're going to wait on the TikTok to get going, and then we're going to have a lot of fun talking some major crud.
Yeah. Screaming about all the things.
Yeah, literally screaming. Like,
I was losing my mind.
So many tabbies. So many. I have multiple.
Just so many highlights in this book.
Tabbies.
Carrie Bowden joined. Oh my gosh, she made it. More people are joining. Hi, people.
Hey, we're going to be talking about a book. We're going to be talking about some celebrities.
Yeah. It'll be fun. We love gossiping.
And boy, we have some gossip for you.
I mean, it's gossip that's already news. It's not a secret. Yeah. But maybe you've not heard it before.
I don't know, a lot of people.
More likes can attract viewers. Keep it up. Okay, thank you. People, keep liking it. There's nothing we can do on our end.
Super sweet.
Yes.
What? Can anyone give me a follow?
We'd love it if you'd give us a follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. Thank you. Why weren't they doing that every time?
Oh.
No, thank y'all. Take it away, Tiger.
Oh, I'll decline. Sorry.
Okay.
Have you guys read the Court of Thorns and Roses series? I have, and I absolutely loved it.
I've read the first 2.
Oh, you haven't read more?
I've got the 3rd one in my Kindle, ready to go. I just need to get around to it.
Get in it.
Well, we've got our books here that we're reading all the time, so I'm a little busy.
We could read A Court of Thorns and Roses for...
Okay. Well, let's just start with the 3rd one. Then
let's just start with the 3rd one.
Where I am.
Then we can go back. After the 3rd one, we can go back. But
Tiger! Leave us alone! No, thank you.
For those in here, we're also filming for YouTube,
yes.
So if you see me look away and act like I'm talking, it's fine.
You're DV advocates? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. How long have you been a DV advocate?
5 years? 6 years.
Yeah, I was about to say I've been with the shelter since 2019.
Then I think I've been 6 years. Maybe more? I don't know. Time ceases to exist after a while.
Yep, especially with everything that goes around here.
May I ask a question? Maybe, if it's nice. We will be watching.
Carrie's just over there like...
Good job, Carrie. Thank you. Doing the Lord's work there. I'm feeling like the question wasn't nice and safe.
No, and they're like, dang. I can't ask
they
this
got
question.
me now.
No. Rules beyond my comprehension. Dang it.
How did you two get so incredibly pretty? It was a gift. How do you get that spark for life back after being in a DV relationship? Time. And support from others or support from a DV organization, support from those in your life. And therapy is a really helpful tool.
Yeah.
I preach self-care all the time.
I mean, you can't love somebody fully if you don't love yourself. It's really hard to build yourself back up after going through a DV situation. But, I mean, that's always the first thing that I tell people when I'm working with them is that we have to get them on the right track first before they can start going out and dating again. Because, I mean, a lot of the time, if you aren't fully healed, you don't know the signs to look for, the patterns that a lot of abusers do go by. unfortunately, a lot of people do end back up in a situation again. So, I mean, it's really important to, like, love yourself and then start going back out and dating again.
It's been about 10 years. I feel like it was something stolen I can't get back. Yeah, that's a completely valid feeling. It's one of those, like, what's it called? Cost-sunk fallacies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh, I spent all this time in this thing, and it's like, I can't get that back. And that's true, but you've learned so many lessons from that. Like, yes, you can't get the time back, but you've learned more about yourself. You learned more about what you deserve. You know what you do not want out of a relationship. And yeah, it sucks losing that time.
Yeah.
But there is still so much life ahead of you. And so much to see and do and experience in the world. And you deserve all of it. So just get the support you need, whether that's counseling or support from DV advocates like us at whatever your local program is, or friends, family, whatever connections will bring you the most joy.
Yeah, and if you're ever looking and if you don't know where to start, I mean, the national hotline is always a really good resource. It might take them a minute because they're having to filter through a bunch of different resources, but they're always a really good resource. They have their number on the online. They have it on.
We also have it on the bio in our page if you want to go look there. But I was going to say, Zoe also is our outreach advocate. So if you're interested in, like, some Zoom sessions for, like, support or DV education,
it's me.
Here's your girl.
It's me. It would be fun, like, going into, even if it's just, like, simple stuff, like, teaching you how to care for yourself. I mean, that's always a really interesting...
Thanks, ladies. You're welcome.
You're so welcome. If you ever have any more questions, DM us. Okay, well...
Should we talk about the book now?
Yeah, because I feel like we're probably going to go past our 4 o'clock mark when you get off work.
We have a lot to say. All right.
So much.
So, if you are just joining our book club for the first time, we always do a list of discussion questions that we post on our page ahead of time. That way people can start thinking about the book. But we are just going to go through them and scream and probably get off topic. So
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's what happens when you get 2 people with ADHD together.
Especially when it comes to, I mean, when we are very... I think both of us are really into pop culture.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to, like, ooh, tea, ooh, ooh, ooh. Because there's one, we're going to talk about celebrities who we think this book is based off of. And you have one that I think you're a little bit more well-versed in. And then we have one that I think both of us are a little well-versed in.
And then you've got one.
That I'm just like, yeah, let me destroy it. But yeah.
All right. So, question number 1. It's our first time reading a murder mystery for book club. Did you figure out who the murderer was before it was revealed? Were you surprised? Did you think it could have been anyone else as you were reading?
Okay, I have to say, because Tori, she can't lie. She wears her heart on her sleeve. You can't, she has no poker face.
I should not be allowed in the state of Nevada.
No. Take her to a casino, she's going to lose all of your money. So I was over here, and I did not get my book until, like, super late.
Yeah.
But our shelter manager, who runs the shelter, she read it in a day, and I'm a really fast reader, so I was like, okay, like, I can do this. It's going to be fine. I'm sitting over here, and I'm like, Tori, I think I have an idea who it is. And she's, like, hiding behind the computer.
I had to hide behind my computer. Like, I don't trust my face right now, guys.
I was like, am I right? Am I right? And, like, as I'm reading, because I get farther into the book, and I'm like, ooh, now I definitely know who it's going to be. And I was kind of right. But, like, if you don't want to go forward, this is where spoilers start coming in. We're going to be talking about the book.
Yeah, so
hint to YouTube, because we're also recording on YouTube. Spoilers start here.
If you want to go read the book, I highly recommend it, and you don't want to get spoiled, screenshot this now, find the book, go read it, and then go find us on YouTube next week.
Grown. All of our tabbies. Tori's tabbies aren't visible.
Tori's tabbies are 10,000 highlights.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was coming.
But, okay.
Alright. Did you finally figure out who it was?
Well, okay.
Other than, like, reading it.
So I'm going through it, and I'm like, well, my gut guess when I was coming in, I was like, Tori. I think it's either going to be a parent.
That was my guess, was that it was going to be the dad, especially once we got to the hint about the big size shoes.
It's either going to be a parent, or it's going to be one of his girls.
Yeah.
And I was kind of right. Because it ends up being, she turns into his assistant, right? But he also groomed her.
And who was Richie? His manager?
Richie was, like, a friend / manager who, I think, discovered Jessica, right?
Jessica and Corey, right? Who discovered Corey? He was highly involved in Corey's career.
Yeah, super involved. But he was also filming the documentary. That was, like, a big thing. I just can't remember what he was other than, like, I'm filming your documentary. Yeah. But, and then he was a judge at the competition, too, right?
Yeah.
So, Richie really liked Jessica, said he would do anything for her, and then...
Which I'm curious I wish there was more about that.
Yeah. I don't know where that would come
It's in. Like, how connected are they that they're like, let's murder this guy together?
But, yeah, it was Jessica and Richie, and then maybe, big spoiler alert, Enchanted. Because you figure out that...
She also got a stab in.
Trying to defend herself, because if she wouldn't have grabbed the knife... Because Richie comes in, it's a whole big plot twist. And you see that this freaking flounder that Corey has been bringing in the entire time when he's about to do something
like the Little Mermaid, a stuffed animal, not like a fish, the flounder.
But Enchanted was really obsessed with Disney movies. Like, her family had Disney night, like, every Friday, like, did the whole thing. And he takes her to Disneyland, and the flounder comes in at Disneyland right when he does some stuff, and it just follows her whenever he's doing horrible things to her.
Called that. Carrie did. She did call that.
So, it was like, oh, okay, great. But there
was a camera in Flounder.
And videotaping.
Eventually they get to this part where she figures out there's a camera in Flounder, goes to get it, and the recording goes up to you see Richie stab Corey. And then it cuts out. And then at the very, very, very end of the book, she remembers that, oh yeah, I also stabbed him.
Because he was going to go for the knife. So, I mean, she probably would have died. But... It being Corey Fields, who is a stand-in for a celebrity we're going to talk about soon. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm rubbing your leg.
How dare you?
How dare me? But, where did I even go? She probably would have gotten framed for it anyway and been like, oh no.
Well, she was framed for it at first.
But probably would have gone downhill for it. If she would have survived through the whole thing, it wouldn't have been like, oh no, he didn't do that. Even though he's got all of these allegations that have already gone through. But,
I was surprised.
Well, I was surprised at the end when she got the stabbing. Because I called you and I was like, what? Did I read that right?
I had to sit there after I was done and just, like, sit there for, like, probably half an hour just being, like, trying to process what just happened. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
If Sophia were here, she'd tell you it's like, Tori was losing her mind.
Yeah.
She wouldn't shut up about it.
I mean, it was such a good book. It was such a good book. I think we're just going to keep saying that through the entire thing. So if you're going to get annoyed, it was such a good book.
Sophia! They are $2. How many? I don't know. I'm on live. Use your best judgment. Carrie, text Sophia. See what she wants. It'll be fine. I sent her a list. She can figure it out. She's a smart girl.
Okay. Next question?
Yep.
Yep.
Because there's no going back, so... Actually, will it show up on my watch? You read the next question. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Number 2. From the moment Corey meets Enchanted until they eventually leave on tour, Corey is grooming Enchanted and her parents to abuse her. What tactics was he using to groom Enchanted? What about her parents? So I will go off on a tangent. I have all of these little tabbies in here. If you cannot see all of my little tabbies, they all stand for something. Some ASMR right here. Okay. Ah! I lost a tabby. Oh no. One of them is like them being starstruck by the abuser. Like I marked every time they were like just having to deal with like, oh, this is a famous person giving me attention. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna ignore everything. Mm-hmm. And then him.
Oh, you've got a whole color-coded system.
Like
you might have already talked about that. I was just trying to.
I put abuser does abuse, but that was like, but
abuser does abuse.
But it's like him grooming. I marked the grooming stuff, and then the orange that we get to later is like the like really abusive. The orange and yellow because I ran out of orange because so many things were happening. I lost a yellow one somewhere in the fray.
Now we'll never know.
But it's things like, I'm going to introduce you to this really famous person, or like him just being famous in general got him away with so much. Mm-hmm. And then her parents, Enchanted's parents, were like, no, he's a grown man. Like, you need to be respectful. We're not going to leave you alone with him. Mm-hmm. But, like, with his fame.
She does. The parents do leave her alone. It's like, what are you people doing?
Yep, because, like, there's Jessica and, like, this other woman in the room. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. It's just all of these different instances of, like, oh, okay, it's Corey. Like, oh, my God, he's texting me. Mm-hmm. Like, you're a grown man. Mm-hmm. Why are you texting this 17-year-old?
Yeah.
But then, it's something in the book, too. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, like, they make a comment later on in the book. Oh, well, she's 17. That's the age of consent.
Yeah.
Well, 16 is the age of consent. So she's a year over the age of consent. But she
knows what she's doing. And
legally a child.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's the age of consent. So they're getting away with all of these things, like just, oh, it's Corey Fields, and then at one point, too,
you keep going.
We're in a shelter actively, so sorry everybody. At one point, too, he's like sitting there and with the cops because the cops are coming in and they're investigating everything, and the lady cop has a problem with him. Like, automatically is like, the vibe is off here, something's going on. And then the male cop is like, oh my God, my wife loves you. My wife loves you. Can I please get a signature? Can I get your autograph, Corey? Oh my God. What is wrong with you? First of all, Mr. Copman, what is wrong with you? Why are you getting an autograph when you're coming to do a wellness check on this child, a literal child whose parents cannot get a hold of her? I don't know. There's so many things. To be fair, the parents didn't know about him texting her for quite a while. Yeah, the parents didn't know, but like there are different things. Like, she's lying. I'm pretty sure we get into that later. But yeah, he's grooming them too. Because I think at one point, when he immediately invites her out after, like, he sees her the first time, he gets them away, and he's introducing them to some big star, and I can't remember who it was, but then his bodyguard, too, so he has all of these people who are helping him groom, these little girls, and, the bodyguard is standing in between in between their parents, Corey and Enchanted, and then I think he gets them tickets to another show at some point when they start, like, getting really weirded out, and then there's Jessica, who, like, if anybody doesn't know, is, like, very shady, and Jessica's helping with it, too, so there's, like, all of these people who are helping, like, hide, Corey and what he's doing, which is so wrong. So it's not just him keeping up this, like, grooming.
I'm all sunglasses-y now.
It's everybody, but...
I can't read the comments, so I hope it's all nice things.
It's not.
Wonderful. Who's being an asshole now? Bye-bye. Can I get rid of a comment?
I don't think you can get rid of it.
Unacceptable. Swipe left to close. Okay, well. Alright.
It's just there.
It's fine. There. More people comment nice things.
But, yeah. Carrie said that, to be fair, her parents didn't know that the texting was happening for a while.
That's true.
That is very true. And I acknowledge that. And there was more than just Corey, was what I was saying when you walked back in, doing all of the grooming, because it was like the bodyguard and all of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Bunch of different things.
What? Where were we? Are we still on question 2?
I mean, we can be if you want to.
I'm good.
Okay. Number 3.
Yeah. What factors in Enchanted's life do you think made her so susceptible to Corey's charms and the life he was promising her? A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She was poor. She was poor, living in a well-off part of town, going to a very well-off school, surrounded by people that had a lot more than her. She wanted to be a singer. She was positive that she wanted to be a singer, and that was all she wanted. So it's like, of course you're gonna, like, hop on this offer, like, oh, you want to make me a star? Great. That is exactly what I want.
Yeah. Having to be another parent to her siblings. She had 4?
I think so.
4 siblings? And she had to help with the littles and, like, do stuff with them and make dinner, do different things because her dad works and her mom works. And then they're also going through it being poor on top of, like, living in the community that they live in, having to pay for the expensive school, pay for the Will and Willow, which is, like, a group that helps encourage...
Yeah, it was like a organization for young black children.
Yeah, to, like, make
adults.
them... It kind of sounded like FBLA.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But, like, racially specific.
Yeah. And they're having to pay the dues for that and, like, do all of those things. Her father is picketing. They're deciding to unionize, so he's on the picket line and doing stuff with them. So, more pressures on the household. But yeah, and then he's just, like, telling her all of these things that she wants to hear.
It's like, I'll pay for your sister's school, I'll pay for all this stuff. Don't worry about the mortgage, I got you. And it's like, no, he doesn't.
Nope.
He's a liar. And an awful person.
Very
and the
creepy.
worst. And probably shouldn't say that online.
But yeah.
Any more about that question? Alright. Question number 4. Enchanted's best friend, Gabriella, is in a relationship with Jay. Gab is 17 and Jay is 21. I can't read. Despite also having an age gap, how is their relationship different from Enchanted's? Reading is hard.
Gab and Jay met in high school.
When they were both still minors.
When they were both still minors. But it's, they talk about, like, how hard it was when he turned 18 and she was still under the age of 18, but they were together.
She would have been, what, 14, 15?
I think they were 14 when they met. And then, like, they were friends for a year and then started dating when she was 15 and then he turned 18.
And then her parents said they should break up, and they did not.
No, they secretly stayed together. But the difference with that, like, they knew each other. They were both kids. They were going, they had a healthy relationship, seemingly. And then there's this old man who has a wife that you don't know about until, and, like, nobody seems to know about in the book, and it's just like, oh, okay, homeboy was married already. And he is going out on these tours, he's doing these things, like, there's not only the power dynamic between him being, like, how old is he?
28.
28.
And Enchanted 17.
17.
So it's an 11-year age gap.
Yep. And she literally talks about his beard graying already. And it was like, no.
I have so many times in this book where I just wrote, ew, disgusting,
yeah, ew.
barf.
Ew. But there's that power dynamic, and then there's the power dynamic of him being, like, multiple platinum hit artist. This person who's producing all of this money and, like, has this power dynamic over, like, as her mentor, he doesn't do anything with her music.
He's got more social power, more financial power. Like,
basically
all
untouchable.
of it.
So, yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, leading into the next question then, there's a lot of conversation in this book about relationships with significant age gaps. What are your thoughts about age gap relationships? When are they okay and when are they not?
I mean, obviously it's not okay if it's ever with a minor.
Yeah.
And it's an adult.
It's like, I know we just said that Gab and Jay is, like, more healthy, but it's still not great that he's, like, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, 20, 21-year-old dating a literal child.
Yeah. He is... I could see why the parents would be upset.
Yeah.
I could see why the parents would be upset because, I mean, he is, like... I would look at that and be like, you're an 18-year-old boy, why are you dating this 15-year-old?
Yeah. It's great that their relationship is so healthy and that they want to be together eventually, but it's like, wait until she's old enough.
Yep. And like, he
and
seems...
not in a creepy way.
Yeah. But he seems like he's really protective of her. Like, I mean, there were times where he, like, acts like he has no idea who she is because they were threatened, right?
Yeah.
So he's, like, doing the thing. But, yeah, it's...
In an ideal world, they would...
Yeah.
If it's meant to be, it'll still be meant to be when she's 18.
Yeah.
And it's no longer an issue of the minor being involved.
But I know there's this, like, trope out there. It's like, ooh, I think I need someone older. But, like, no. You don't. You're 16, stop it. You don't need the 38-year-old businessman.
No.
Go away. But, and I get it. I like me some older man, too. But
you're not a literal child in
I'm
high
not a
school.
literal child, no.
So, you're allowed to like older men.
But the times where it's okay is, like, you discuss that power dynamic that you have.
That power imbalance, and, like, it's less of an imbalance.
Yeah.
If you have a way where things can work out, where it's not so drastically different, then it's better.
Because, I mean, that's the issue with dating someone older. They're more established. I probably have more money than you. They're probably a lot more comfortable than you because of that money that they have.
Ooh. You know what that reminds me of? I know I've tried telling you about this book before. The Idea of You. The one that's like Harry Styles fanfiction, but a book.
That's not the one that they made into a Netflix thing, right? Okay.
They are making it into a movie, though. It's gonna be the one that's coming out with Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway's in it? Oh.
And it's about this, like, Harry Styles-esque character. I don't remember what his name is anymore. But this Harry Styles.
Yeah.
And then this older woman.
Oh.
Who is a art collector. And, like, art dealer. And she goes with her daughter to a alternate universe One Direction concert. And meets him, and then they get up together.
Oh.
Yes. But I think part of what makes that work in that book is that even though she's older and more established, has a child, has more money, all these things, it's like he's also a world-renowned celebrity.
Yeah.
So he also has money. He's not, like, dependent on her. It's not like, oh, let me date this older person for money or for clout or for whatever.
How old's the daughter? I just,
like 13.
And how old's he?
He's in his 20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so, yeah. Like, hey.
The book is so... You need to read the book. I'll bring you my copy.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you have to discuss those things. It can't just be like, Oh, like, I think that's why I have a problem with, like, the sugar daddy dynamic.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I'm giving you money, and they just be like, I'm cutting off that money!
Yeah.
Even though that was the power, like, the thing we had set up.
Yeah.
It's... Things can get dicey really quick. But communication, people. Yes. Communication. It's always a good thing.
Number 1, consenting adults.
Yep.
Correct, Carrie.
Consenting adults. But yeah. Don't be Corey Fields or any of the other celebrities we're going to be talking about.
No. Be adults. Both of you. And if you're a child, stop trying to date adults.
And don't be complicit if you think your friend is doing something that you literally know is wrong. But.
Yeah. Right. Next question. What number was that? Number 6. Talk about the parallels between what's happening with Enchanted and Corey and the movies/books she references.
I literally...
They brought up Twilight at one point and I started having like PTSD.
I was like... Because for anybody who doesn't know, we have done both the first Twilight books, so Twilight, and we have also done Midnight Sun, which is from Edward's perspective, in case anybody doesn't know. Yeah. Literally
I wish
awful.
I could go back to not knowing.
If you think, like, Twilight's bad, like, no. Midnight Sun from Edward's perspective puts you into a whole new ball game. And Tori was literally over here wanting to murder somebody the entire time. I had to write jokes for her to get through it. But she talks about, Enchanted, back to the book, talks about how creepy that dynamic is, because he's like an old man, like, why are you still in high school? Like, all
so, like, clearly she got it, but she couldn't apply it to herself, which is a conversation we'll have in a little bit, because it's one of the questions. It's just like, oh my god.
Yep.
But she, like, says that. It's like, oh, that's so creepy when her and Corey are first texting. And he's like, nah, it's great. It's so romantic. And then a few chapters later, once they're together, she's like, I thought this was supposed to be like Edward and Bella. And it's like, it is like Edward and Bella.
Oh, and then, so, like, moves on from that. And he's like, I think you should buy 50 Shades of Grey. Disgusting. And he's like, take notes. Take notes. I will literally, if I, like, I believe in privacy on a kid's phone, but, like, clearly, like, that if my kid, I'm sure she hid it. I'm sure she hid it. Yeah. We've all brought home books and stuff that we probably didn't need to be bringing home. But, like, brought home 50 Shades of Grey, is reading it. I can only imagine. We'd have to be having some conversations. Like, we'd have to be having some conversations, like, what, you've never read something like this before. Like, what is going on?
This is not age appropriate for you, put that back.
And he justifies it, like, oh, it's Twilight fanfiction. And that's technically what it is. You and I have talked about it. How Twilight led to all of these different things and all of these different unhealthy dynamics in books and media because of the relationship that Stephanie Meyer did between Edward and Bella. So he was right. It is Twilight fanfiction, but it is
in all the worst ways. Horrible.
That is disgusting. That the fact that he was like, oh, take notes. Ew. You would be going to jail right there.
And then, all the stuff with Pocahontas, all the freaking time. He's like, why don't you like Pocahontas? Why don't you like Pocahontas? We should watch Pocahontas. You want to watch Pocahontas? It's just like, gah.
Yep. For anybody who doesn't know, Pocahontas, like,
The Disney movie.
The Disney movie.
Not the real historical person.
Well,
kind of. They're talking about the Disney movie in here, and that's where the parallels are.
Yeah. But they make Pocahontas in the movie older.
How old, though?
I don't know how old she is, but she's older than what she is in real life. But
there's still a very real age difference.
Yeah.
I feel even obvious in the Disney one.
Because she's, like, let's say she's a teenager. I'm not sure. But it's not obvious she's a child.
Yeah.
In the Disney movie. But she's, like, teenager. Going after... John Smith. Yep. And John Smith, he's an older guy. Like,
Yep.
nasty man. I can't remember. In real life, she didn't actually end up getting with him, right?
No.
She ended up with somebody else.
Also, not
No.
named John Smith. There was, I think there were 2 John Smiths.
Yeah. But he was
But the husband might have been John, but like a different John.
I can't remember. I can't remember his name, but I know he like grew tobacco and crap.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I can't remember, but he was colonizer.
Yeah.
He came in and literally a child when she married him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And the thing, she like Pocahontas in the movie has such long hair, and Coy loves long hair. All about that long hair.
Who was it? Amber. He gave the Pocahontas wig.
Disney aged her up to 17 to 18 and made John Smith 26 to 17? What? 27.
27. Thank you, Carrie. So that's literally the age
gap we're talking about.
Ew.
Oh my god.
That puts a whole new... Ew. But, like, that's the thing, too. Like, back then, that sort of thing was normal. Like...
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. It's like, ooh.
But it's not normal today, Corey.
She has started her menstruations. It's time for her to be a housewife. Oh! That white colonial man just came out of me? Oh my god! Quaker Oats man who? Oh my god. In real life, she was 14-ish and he was 27. Even worse!
That would have been... What's the sister's name? Because the sister was 14. Shay.
Jay. Be gone, Quaker Oats man! Sorry, we can't talk with him anymore.
What am I talking about?
How it was... Age gaps? Age gaps and how, like, that was normal back then.
Yes, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was just too funny, Zoe. Good job.
I'm funny! Oh, God. Next question. Once they leave on tour, Corey's attitude and actions towards Enchanted start changing. Because of course they do.
Yep.
Enchanted even refers to him as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Discuss his changing behavior and the abusive tactics he is using while on tour.
As we said earlier, he was promising Enchanted the world. He's like, I'll pay for school, I'll pay your parents' mortgage, I'll make you a star, I'm gonna pay you, we're gonna record your album, it's gonna be so great. It was not. It was not. There was no recording of the album.
No.
There was, however, a lot of holding her hostage.
Making her pee in an ice bucket.
Uh-huh. A lot of not feeding her food. A lot of changing her entire look to exactly what he wants.
Making her drink codeine.
Drugging her constantly. Sexually assaulting her.
Yep. Having a camera in the flounder fish from The Little Mermaid.
As he is assaulting her.
So many things, but he...
Freaking out if anyone else dares speak to her.
They have to hide in the room. They can only wear sweatpants when they're at the house. The house is totally covered with cameras.
Does he steal her phone while she's on tour, or was that once they're back at the house?
He takes the phone.
And then...
Because
she was texting, calling her mom at first, and then...
Yeah, he takes the phone.
Cuts off contact.
They have to go through Jessica, and then they just start ignoring.
Yeah.
Completely. And then, they get the phone. She has to, when she's leaving, when she gets out of it on the plane, because this woman, like, good for her, by the way, because, like, there are so many people who'd rather just be like, I'm on a plane. I don't.
It's
want
like,
to
I'm
start
not getting
anything.
paid for this.
Like, but she kept pushing. Like, do you need help? Do you need help? In the middle of this plane, having like severe turbulence.
And all these people screaming at her.
Yep.
Like the other flight attendants being like, leave him alone, leave him alone. It's like, no.
The bodyguard coming up and being like, leave my boss alone.
Yeah.
Like, all this different stuff, and she gets out of there and says yes, and he still has her phone. And keep in mind, like, that was such a tactical move on their part.
Yeah.
Because they had all of those text messages of Enchanted's on the phone between him and her and Corey. And that's another thing, too. When she goes back and starts talking about it, I don't think they ever... She was like, it should all be on Corey's phone. You can go get phone records. Why was that not a thing?
Yeah. There were a lot of things with the police investigation where I'm like, what were you people doing?
But... That happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Especially for reasons we will discuss.
Yep, I already went off about the cop coming into the house during the welfare check, and the woman cop was great. She was amazing. She was, like, something's wrong. Like, do you need help? Let's go talk on our own. And because she's so scared, because Enchanted's so scared, she says no.
Yeah.
And then, but the male cop is just like, I'm in Corey Field's house.
Yeah. Can I get an autograph?
My wife loves you. Like, and he waits until the female cop is outside to do it.
Yeah.
No. This is why cops should have body cams. I've been like, throwing the book at you. But, whatever. Like, that's awful. Like, you're coming to do a welfare check for this girl. And you're, oh, Corey. Hey, buddy.
And that's just the one they wrote about. They talk about later how there were, like, multiple welfare checks.
Yeah.
But that was in the part of the book where I thought nothing was real. So it's like, how many were there? I don't know.
Yeah. Like, you can obviously see, like, in my book, I'm making all these little tabbies. It's like a forest of tabbies. Yeah. And then
it's like, what the hell is happening?
The last quarter of the book is like, it's as big as my pinky. I'm just like, what? But, yeah. Did we even answer that? We did, didn't we? Yeah.
I forgot what the question was.
It was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, good enough. Next question. How does Corey's abusive behavior escalate once they are home? Well, we were talking about that a little bit.
Literally just
He has her locked in a room with no access to the bathroom, no access to food, just another bucket in the corner. Until she is, like, basically trained to stay in there and they start unlocking it. He is assaulting her. And also the other girls that are there, because we know at least Amber is there.
Yeah.
But they said there's 15?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. But she's younger than Enchanted.
And they said there's a whole hallway of rooms that all look the same, and Enchanted's is down at the end. So it's like, who knows how many there actually were.
Yeah.
Since he was also hiding a wife there, apparently.
Just insane. And then Enchanted does run at one point, but the bodyguard comes and gets her. She's like covered in mud. She's covered and just panting, looks scared out of her mind. She's in this restaurant.
Waffle House.
And there's cops there who are just like,
you're just looking at her like, well, that's part of the course in Waffle House.
Oh, are you okay? Yeah? Okay. Obviously not. If this big old man is coming in and grabbing her and being like, oh, she's just confused. Yeah. It's okay. But, whatever. But, I mean, do we talk about that later? Or, like, there's so
about Waffle House? I don't think so specifically.
The cops in this book.
I mean, we talk about the effects of racism, and I think that's largely part of it.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Because I'll save my soapbox.
Yeah. We'll save it for all one cohesive soapbox.
One cohesive soapbox.
Where we just scream for hours. I don't know if you can hear the screaming. Everyone's upset about it.
We're an active shelter, guys. Yeah. So if you hear stuff.
It happens.
Yep.
People live here. Alright. Next question. Which one were we even on?
9.
Okay. Did we get everything done with once they were home? Okay. There is no excuse for his behavior, but are there factors from Corey's past that you think impacted and shaped how he acts today?
He was raised by his grandma, so his parents were not in the picture.
Mm-hmm. And then his grandma died when he was, 12, 13?
Very young.
And then that's when Richie got him into the music industry.
Yeah. And then he said he was assaulted by an older woman.
Well,
right?
He didn't say, we know it is assault because she was older and he was 14.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I lost my virginity at 14 to an older lady. It was great.
Yeah.
Come to find out it was Jessica.
After he won his first award, right?
Did he win his award or was he just like at the party?
I think he won it. It was like a Grammy or something. All of Carrie's notes. Yeah. Girl, that's not your job!
Can't remember what it was.
I don't know. It was later.
Happened right after I signed to RCA at a Grammys after party.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he was just at the Grammys after party, but he was assaulted. Doesn't it come back later and say there was like a guy too, or am I thinking of the celebrity?
I think you're thinking of the celebrity. Okay. Like he says that Richie was there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was assaulted by a man. Mm-hmm. At least I don't remember. There was a lot happening.
There was a lot happening.
Who knows?
I can't remember.
Who knows?
I can't remember, but that
it wasn't her job to keep him happy and to keep him from being lonely. She was a baby. She was.
Yeah, she was a baby. Very sad. But
that's not an excuse for abuse, though.
No. But I mean, obviously, like, there's no telling what other stuff, because, I mean, that would have been an interesting thing to go into as well. Because, I mean, part of what I do for a job is, like, trying to break cycles. Because, I mean, domestic violence is a cycle that happens to people who are in domestic violence situations with the abuser. Yeah. Because they do go through these cycles. But it is when, like, you start introducing children and people who are impressionable that cycle can continue even out of the relationship that you're having with your abuser. It can start affecting your children. And your children can start becoming people who are going to be experiencing DV, or they can start becoming people who are going to be doing the DV themselves. And it is something that is so important with going into schools and, like, making sure that sex education is a thing, making sure that teaching, like, healthy relationships is a thing, teaching that consent is a thing. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, sex ed is not a thing that's in schools, and it's not required, and in fact is protested upon, and not allowed in schools. And it's something that just doesn't fix the problem, like a lot of people think, that they're like, oh, like,
if you just never talk about sex, then none of the kids will have it. They just won't know it exists.
Yeah,
it's like,
but it just causes more problems than it actually fixes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, things like this happen. So, like, I'm sure we don't know what happened with Corey's parents. We don't know what he had to see, but, like, as a child in the industry who probably, like, had a sort of situation like Enchanted, like, oh, like, this person's gonna be your guardian, but he's making this music, he's doing these things, nobody's watching him, like, the fact that he was allowed to go have a thing with Jessica as a 14-year-old is horrendous. And there's no telling how many other women did the same thing. And, like, then there's the thing of him being a boy and that happening too. Because, I mean, around here we have had, like, a scandal. And, like, there are so many people who, like, they will look at an attractive woman who is an older woman who seduces a younger man or a boy, and it's like, oh, like, she's hot. That he wanted that. Whatever. So I'm sure that was probably going on with him, and nobody was stepping in. It's like, oh yeah, like, he's a star, he's getting whatever, and it's not okay. But yeah, I'll get off my soapbox.
Do you have anything else to say about that?
Mm-mm.
All right. Number 10. Enchanted seems to be aware of red flags and concerning behavior when it is affecting others, but continually rationalizes what happens to her. Why does she do this? I mean, enchanted.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, I mean, she does see that, like, Edward and Bella's relationship is bad. Like, she sees that different things are like, oh, that's a red flag. But
or the second he starts talking about Shay, she's like, oh, no, that's disgusting. You're so old. Why would you be interested in Shay? But it's like, girl, you are not that much older than her.
No, and same with her friend Gabby. It's just...
It's like she thinks they're in love and therefore it is different. It's not the same as him going after someone else. It's like, no, we're meant to be. We're in love.
Yep. And people, like, unfortunately, because of that grooming and because of...
See my note. Yes, we know, Carrie. We've seen the notes.
Because of the grooming that happened before, like, she's rationalizing everything. And, like, she does call him, like, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It is... unfortunate for when he is Dr. Jekyll. He's great. He's wonderful. She's so in love with him. He's taking her to Disneyland. He's buying her these expensive clothes and this expensive jewelry and making sure she has nice makeup and, like, all of these things. But it's when he's Mr. Hyde. But, like, we just talked about, domestic violence is a cycle. It goes through it, and he, like, would go from being amazing and wonderful and kind to her to being, like, horrible and I'm gonna keep you locked up in this room where you have to use the bathroom in a bucket.
Okay. Per Carrie's note, Carrie says, no, I asked in the margins. She sees that talking about Shay and how she's like, oh, that's so gross. But she doesn't see that she's being taken advantage of. And Carrie said, no, because she thinks she's grown and able to make her own decisions and thinks it's love with them, so it's different.
Yep. I mean, that's like when... Does she see him having sex with Amber? Is that who it is?
I think so. That part was also a little trippy. I'm like, what is even going on? Because she was saying it's like the walls are so thin, it feels like you're in the room. But then she also talked about how she, like, watches them and is, like, involved in it. And it's just like... But she was also wildly drugged up, so it's like... Was she just hearing it, or was she in there? I don't know.
I don't know, but he's cheating, like, actively cheating, and he shouldn't call it that. But, like, if they're in love and they're in this relationship,
he's cheating on Enchanted too, since he's married the entire time.
Yep, but if you're in this relationship, if you're gonna, it shouldn't be called a relationship. But, like, in the context to make everybody understand, he's doing these things with this other person. He's like, oh, you're not ready. You weren't ready. So, like, she's giving me what I want, and I'm a man with needs.
Even though he was definitely getting what he wanted from her anyways. Because the sex tape that she insists is not hers, but definitely is her.
Yeah.
Right? Is in the room in the house.
Yeah.
So it is after she has said, I don't want to do this anymore. He's still having sex with her. Oh, hello. The light just went out.
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay, we're good.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
We're good.
Light enough. Interesting. Is the phone working? That was weird. Did I press the right button?
I think you did.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. Everything's fine.
Technical difficulty where we're both, like, scrambling.
What does that say?
That's who...
She walked in on when the police came up because of a suicide pact.
That's right.
Yes, okay.
That's right.
All right. I see why that one was hidden. Spelling suicide like that did not get past the... TikTok just does not want to hear Carrie's thoughts on this book.
No. Yeah, LOL. But yeah, I thought... And she, like, runs in and it's like, oh my god. And he's like, oh my god, why are you in here?
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
What was the question?
Why she rationalizes everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Discuss all the people who knew about, enabled, and assisted Corey in grooming, taking advantage of, and abusing Enchanted. All the people.
Just everybody. Richie does. Everybody who's in the film crew does.
Richie, Jessica, Tony, super complicit. Like, actively holds her hostage.
Yep. Richie's son. All of the people who are, I mean, just everybody. I mean, there are people all around them, and they can look at her and they know. Let me go through here.
All the police who were like, yep, this is fine. Let's leave this literal child with this man.
Yep, the makeup artist, when they're first doing it, like, she looks at him and, like, is horrified because they're talking about getting her a butt lift, and, like, she looks horrified. All
the people that came to Corey's house to have all those parties, and, like, all these girls are just trapped upstairs.
Yep.
Or in the room, and they're like, oh, this is fine. Because, what's his name? Derek at one point says, it's like, yeah, everyone knows about that. And Louis, the new manager, is like, yeah, everyone knows, but he's a powerful guy. There's nothing you can do.
Like, I want nothing but
something
thongs.
You could do.
And, like, the freaking, it's just, like, all of these nasty...
She needed a Thomas Jefferson in her life. What? Explain, Carrie. Thomas Jefferson, the president? Because I don't think that would help. Just based on knowing Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson.
This kid is out. Oh. Okay. Not gonna be complicit.
Is she Hamilton?
What?
Is she quoting Hamilton right
Yes.
now? Okay.
Sorry, it took us a second to get the joke, but I got it. I'm not entirely sure it helps, but I got it. Because Thomas Jefferson was not a good guy.
No, he wasn't a good guy. I was like, wait, why? Why are we saying
why
Thomas
is
Jefferson come help this African American woman?
Yeah, it'd be like saying, we should just have Andrew Jackson here. It's like, why? George Washington would help. What? Alexander Hamilton.
His name was Alexander Hamilton.
What were we talking about?
I have no idea.
All the people that knew about, enabled, and assisted Corey.
Yeah,
not Thomas Jefferson.
Just everybody.
Yeah, all the people.
Thomas Jefferson on them bills, though.
It's all his fault, then. Let's just blame it on Jefferson. Well, this would be a good part. Do you want to talk about the police now, or do you want to talk about the police with the racism?
I mean, it could go either way.
But what do you want to do?
We can talk about it with the racism.
Okay. Moving on, then. When Enchanted finally escaped from Corey, in what ways was she still affected by the abuse and the trauma of what happened to her? How was Corey continuing to abuse her after she left? How did this part of the story mirror the experience of real-life survivors?
She was having nightmares. She had to get on medication. She had to go to therapy. She was having, like...
She had to go through withdrawal because she was addicted to codeine.
She was having, like, PTSD visions of him when she would get really stressed out, which happens to survivors all of the time, and they were, like, acting like she was crazy.
How much of it do you think was visions, and how much of it do you think was him actually stalking her?
Well, they say the school thing didn't happen. They say the band thing didn't happen.
But the Will and Willow thing, do you think he was actually there? I
think he was probably there at the Will and Willow thing. But, I mean, there's all of the other stuff, too. The, like, she got a call from a random number, right? And then the tape being released and, like, all all of these different, like, him buying the, it's not like a guardian paperwork that they're signing, it's actually her signing off the rights to whatever music she makes to Corey. Just all of these super manipulative things. Because she's trying to make herself better, she's trying to get out, she's trying to make music, and then it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Things that survivors deal with all the time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Because, like, going a little more into that, it's like, we know that when you leave an abusive situation or when you're thinking about leaving, that is the most dangerous time in that relationship because your abuser knows that they're losing control over you and they will do anything to try to maintain that control.
Yeah.
Including stalking you, including releasing sex tapes, including revenge porn, including, like, going to the extent of murdering you. Which Corey was about to there at the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's a reality for a lot of survivors. It may not be to this extent or with a celebrity, but it is a very real and scary part of leaving. And we get a lot of questions on TikTok specifically of, oh, well, why did they stay? Why did they go back? And it's like, that's why. Because it's really freaking hard leaving.
Yeah.
And really scary.
Financial part of it, too. I mean, there's just so many different reasons why it's so hard. But it's... I'm trying to think how to word this next part. I don't know. It's frustrating, and I'll get more into it when we do talk about the cops. How they're just so like, you're crazy. Didn't your grandma have mental illness too? But yeah, I mean, it's something. I mean, there are tons of. We've had people come in, and like we do have kids here. Like the kids screaming, that can trigger them. They can like hear stuff. I mean, there are a bunch of different people after abuse because it does alter your brain. Especially for she's still a child. Like your brain doesn't stop developing until 25, right?
Yeah.
So she is still a child. Her brain is still developing. It's going through all of these different changes as a teenager.
In that training we had, the self-care one, where they were talking about the adverse childhood events.
Yeah. ACEs.
Yeah. How many did they say would cause, like, a lifetime effect?
I can't...
It was, like, 3. 3? And that could be, like, minor things, and she had all this going on.
Yeah, I mean, she had to grow up faster then, because, like, it does. I mean, she was having to be a parent when she shouldn't have had to be a parent. She was having to deal with racism, having to deal with people like Corey and like all of that situation, and having to go through those things. So her having these like PTSD moments where she's like hearing him and seeing him. 4 siblings.
4 siblings. I thought we said that already. Did we lose siblings?
I don't know.
Carrie!
Oh.
She's here!
She's here. She's at the door.
We found her!
But, I can see her smiling on the live right now. I see you, Carrie. I see you smiling at the live. But her having to go through all of these different things, it's no wonder she was seeing him and looking at him, like, being able to go through things. I can't do thoughts. But yeah, I mean, we have people here who, they hear their abuser still, and it could be years later, and, like, it's something that, like, your mind, it's a smell, it's a sound, it's all of these different things can remind you of something that your abuser does, and it can just, like, trigger your brain to do stuff. I mean, she got... One of the first times I think she hallucinates is when she's on stage, right? Because, I mean, she was on stage with Corey, and, like, if she would do
Was that the first time, or was it when she was in the pool, and she, like, heard his voice in her head? Or are you talking full-on seeing things, hallucinations?
Seeing things.
Yeah, I think on stage would... Live will end. Verify to continue. No, oh, God.
Oh.
Okay. What is happening? Do I win? That was weird. We don't normally verify.
Oh.
Okay.
Did your phone just get hacked?
I don't know. Maybe we're talking about too much salacious content.
Probably.
Alright. TikTok, will you forgive us? We'll behave. Maybe. If we feel like it. I don't know what I was doing. I was going to turn that light back on, but I was just like, it's fine.
But, yeah, I think the first time she, like, fully sees him was on stage, because, I mean, he would get mad at her if her pitch was too high or something was off. It's Sophia. She back with the groceries.
Okay.
So.
Is that Carrie saying she's got it? Carrie's got it.
How were, number 13, I guess we're just going to move on.
Yep.
How were Enchanted's family and friends impacted by everything that was happening with Corey and Enchanted? I mean, you have, like, her friend Gabriella. You have this whole thing where you think she was made up the entire time. And you end up finding out that it's her dad. Gabriella's dad found out that she was dating Jay. Moved her out. And then also, like, they're getting threatened by Corey and that whole deal. And that nobody at the school knew her name was, like, Olivia Hill.
Which does not make sense.
No.
It's like, none of the teachers, like, if you're in a school, you've got the roll list there. So they would have her full name. Because they're not just going to put part of the name. And when you enroll in school, you've got to have, like, your birth certificate and everything. There's no way they're just like, oh, well, we're just using this part of your name. Otherwise, there would not be the first day of school when everyone's like, oh, Victoria Paul. It's like, I go by Tori. Thank you. Otherwise, I just to be enrolled by that name. Like, that's not a thing.
Yep. And it was literally insane. And the cops were like, why didn't you tell your best friend? Like, why didn't you go talk to the teachers?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But she has to move away. Partially because of Jay, partially because of, like, what's happening with that. Will and Willow are debating on whether or not to kick them out. I think after the sex tape comes out. And they have a huge discussion. They're like, no, we're not going to do that because, like, you're supposed to be family, blah, 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 blah. So they end up helping by getting, like, a big hotshot lawyer, I think.
Yeah. Shay had a really hard time because she was really affected by all the gossip and all the news and everything and everything that her parents were going through because her parents were trying to get Enchanted back. Like, her dad is still on strike, going down to Atlanta all the time, gets beat up by his security team. It's like all these things. They're constantly calling in these welfare checks. It's like, it's a lot.
All of this.
And Corey wasn't paying them, right? So it's like, they also had the financial strain of their dad's on strike, so they've got one income that they're trying to pay for the house, pay for everything in life, and also this bonkers expensive school. Like, so much.
Yep. So, the whole thing, and then the stress of being like, I let my daughter go with this man. I can only imagine. Like, and is there a question later about that? About them letting her go?
I don't think so.
But I get it, because he also groomed them. He also made them feel okay. Would I let my child go do that? Probably not. I mean, it would have to take a lot for me to be able to be like, oh yeah, you can just go. But it would be like, let's find somebody to go with you.
It's like, if you go, I go.
Yeah, like, what is going on here?
It's like, I do not trust this strange lady here.
No, and it wouldn't be I haven't heard from my daughter in 3 weeks. Let me just start going through other people. I would be the psycho. Like, it'd probably have been me killing Corey. But
I was saying that a quarter of the way through the book on Instagram. It's like, I think I might be the one to murder Corey Fields.
But it was, like, I understand, like, why they let her go. And, like, if they're also being promised money because the parents are going through a really hard time. And, just all of the different things. But having to deal with it, like, why did you let her go? What, like, that on top of it is insane. So I just...
Yeah, you could see it really weighing on her mom and her dad. Yeah. And Enchanted even talks about how she notices, like, a change with them and how they treat her and everything.
Yeah, her dad was making me mad. I get he's having to deal with it, but her dad, like, didn't talk to her.
It's like, that is not the support she needs right now.
Like, don't resent your daughter for having to go through this, because at the end of the day...
You let her go.
Like, this is partially to put on you. Like...
Yeah. I don't know if it was so much he was, like, blaming her, but he was feeling guilty and didn't know how to act. But that still doesn't make it better, because she's, like, going through all this stuff. She needs help. She needs support. Are they both locked outside? No, I think I see Carrie. Or at least I thought I did.
Okay, there she is. But,
any more on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Discuss how after Enchanted becomes the primary suspect in Corey's murder, her interactions with police and those around her, particularly about the identity of her friend Gabriella, have her starting to question her sanity and what is real and what isn't. Had me starting to question my sanity. Was so crazy. Because, like we were saying, it's like, the school supposedly didn't have her name. And it's like, that's not a thing. The police could not find her. Jay was pretending he didn't know her. But I even wrote a note in the book. It's like, she got to Jay, and... Because at that point, you're questioning, is Gab even real?
Yeah.
Especially when she gets to Jay, and it's just like, I have no idea who you're talking about. And it's like, then how did she know who Jay was? How would she know how to find Jay if Jay was not real?
Yeah.
She has to be real, but like, all these things are not adding up.
Are you hallucinating Jay as well at that point? And I was like, what is happening? But my thing is, like, your daughter hangs out with this person and you have no idea. Yeah. So it's just all of these other, like, multifaceted things of, like, why this was allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Because, like, the fact that you don't know this is your daughter's best friend. And she apparently talks to her all the time. What is happening?
Yeah.
Where you have no idea who your daughter's best friend is.
Yeah, the only Latina person in this school. And they're like, nope, never heard of her. Olivia? She's not Latina.
Because she was white passing. Like, apparently.
Supposedly. Right? But Gab said part of why they connected so much was because they were both minorities.
Yeah.
So it's like, clearly she wasn't that white passing, otherwise she would just be with the white people.
Yeah. I have no idea. It was all weird.
It was intentionally driving us insane. I get it. It was an excellent writing tactic because I did feel like I was losing it. But it was bonkers.
But her grandma is bipolar?
I don't know if they specifically said, like, a diagnosis, but she definitely...
She has some stuff going on.
Like, she's definitely a hoarder, definitely is talking to people that are not there.
Yep. Has a turtle in tank that you don't know how long that turtle has been in that tank. And she's like, he's just being silly, goofy, and he's sleeping. It's okay. And Aunt Janet's over there like,
gagging.
I'm gonna just go open this window, Grandma.
Yeah. Don't mind me.
And I was like, okay. But at the same time, I mean, that's a problem too. With so many different things, whether it's dealing with cops or whether it's dealing with any kind of, like, system, they automatically assume if there's this history of mental illness that you must, oh, you're crazy. And they just put it on that.
Yeah.
And so
which clearly there was something going on, because she imagined Corey at imagined an entire band at the showcase, and imagined he was there at school. It's like, there was something going on, but Gab was still real. It's like, the whole thing.
I just think that was more like stress related with everything happening. But, I don't know.
But with her grandma, we can't rule it out.
Yeah. So, who knows?
Yeah.
But.
She was crazy. We were crazy.
Yeah.
Everything was crazy. Next question. If it's even real. There was a strong public response after Corey's death, mourning his loss and attacking Enchanted, despite the numerous public settlements and accusations against him, as well as the recent news of Enchanted's own dramatic escape. Why do you think that was, and what did it take for public opinion to change in the book?
I will say this, and I'm going to get into it later when we're talking about celebrities.
Well, it's not going to be that much later. There's only 4 questions left.
But, the fact that I will never understand why people are like, oh, they're just in it for the money. Because they wouldn't be getting that money if there wasn't something that needed to be hidden. And I will never understand that.
It's like, if you're making a case against someone for money, it's like they still have to win that case for them to get the money. You have to have proof that these things happened.
And the fact that they're giving you money to get you to stop says something.
Yeah.
I will never understand why people are like, oh no, that didn't happen. That did happen, and you're justifying it, and you're just as bad as that person because you're ignoring it, and you're being complicit into what they're doing, and this is why Corey and the people we're going to talk about later, things like that happen. And,
because he's able to get away with it so many times.
And you have all this money, so of course you can, afford hush money.
Yeah. So, all these girls come forward, and, it makes the news every time, but people are just like, oh, it's Corey Fields. Love him.
Yeah.
They're just trying to hurt him.
I think it ends up being, Will and Willow, because he had went after a bunch of girls in Will and Willow.
Yeah.
So Will and Willow all teams up and says, we're going against Corey Fields. And then there's a Corey Anonymous, is that what they call him?
Something like that.
All of these different survivors come together to talk, and that's actually how Enchanted finds out about the videotape, in Flounder.
And then once they find the Flounder tape, they find all the other tapes. And
boxes.
I think seeing it is a large part of what changed public opinion, because it's you can't deny it once you've seen it.
But you can.
Yeah, people will. In the book, it played a large part in changing public opinion.
But, yeah.
Next question. Wow, so concise for us. What impacts of systemic racism do we see throughout Enchanted's entire story? How would Enchanted's experience have been different if she were white or some other ethnicity? So I know you've been waiting to get up on your soapbox, so just go. I'll chime in.
So it is so frustrating, and I think for a lot of people in this country, I mean, there is a very strong movement into police reform in many different ways. We are not. I don't know how much we can get into because we are a nonprofit, but there are many different.
Very carefully towing that political line.
Yeah. So there are so many different areas who are overly policed that have people out there who are not properly trained, who are just out there getting
I don't think anyone can deny that race relations between the police and the black community are not good. They are not where they need to be. And that plays a large part in why so much was able to happen to Enchanted.
Yeah. And especially in the case of a famous person. I mean, you see it so many times with famous people, and we're going to talk about it. Who they get by with it, because it's like, oh, okay, this is a famous person.
Yeah.
But I think it was Malcolm X who said black women are, like, the most, like, I think that's a quote somewhere in this book.
Hello, Soph.
Hello. Did y'all see my comment?
No, what'd you say?
No.
From on Carrie's phone?
4 siblings.
No. It says, hey, it's Soph. Y'all are cute.
Oh,
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one.
I typed it on her phone.
Huh. Weird.
Who knows?
Well, I said that.
Are we still live?
I think so.
Okay. I don't. Should there be a button? End live. No, don't end now. Okay. Sorry. I'm after the whole puzzle piece thing. I'm like, is anything real? Yes, you're still live. Okay, thank you, Bree.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
What you got?
Apple and peanut butter.
Apple and peanut butter.
Nom nom.
But,
So I'm going to. I was just writing this real quick.
Jasper! Stop it!
I'm just kidding.
But anyway, before we got distracted by apple and peanut butter, when you have people who are going in and it is so easy to become a cop, and a lot of people, I mean, that is like one of those things. It's you're wanting. No, we can't open the window. I'm sorry.
It's because you're in here. You're so hot. I throw money at you, Carrie.
But she said, "Did you say you don't want money?"
I said I wouldn't throw money at me.
I would throw money at you, girl. God dang. It is so easy to become a cop, and like that's one of those things. I mean, I'm pretty sure they do have to have continued education. I think they do, at least some, but I think it's more like training wise. But I know from my time over at the Ozark Rape Crisis Center, we would go do trainings with different police stations over like, this is what what you should do with trauma, and this is how people are with trauma, because a lot of people think that after a sexual assault you should just be like bawling your eyes out and like, but that doesn't happen because your brain is wired differently. So it's going in and talking to cops and being like, this is what trauma looks like, and this is what a person will say, and like these are things you can look for. And there would be so many times where it'd be just a female cop, or there'd be no cops, and who's to say that maybe they were really busy schedule, who knows. But there would be so many times where it was like very low turnout, if turnout at all. And that's a problem, especially when you're dealing with communities who are already underprivileged because there aren't enough resources for them as it is. And you are supposed to be there to protect them. And when you are not properly trained, you are not willing to go get trained, when you are just being complicit, knowingly seeing things. Because, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that something is going on in a situation like this. And when you are going in and you are just ignoring it because of a fame situation, because Corey was famous.
When you've got all these multiple well checks that are being called in by her parents, and you're just like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's whatever. Hey, can I get your autograph?
Yeah.
That's not okay. You are part of the problem. And if this would have been a white girl, they say
they would have been all over it.
All over it. And you see it so many times with people of color where they just get swept under the rug. I mean, and it's not just in cases like these. It happens all the time. It happens in murder cases. It happens in like all of these different things. I mean, there were so many different people of color who went missing in the same place that Gabby Petito went missing, and they found a ton of different bodies while they were looking, and they were like, oh, like, because they had this huge search for Gabby Petito, and I'm not saying that Gabby Petito didn't deserve that recognition, that she didn't deserve, like, to go be looked for, but the other people did as well, and they didn't get that. And that happens again and again and again and again. And it takes something horrible, it takes something really big for, like, people to get in these communities to get recognition. And that's so sad. I mean, there are so many different examples of that right now. I mean, there's a student in Oklahoma right now who's transgender who, like, who's at school, right?
Yeah.
And tons of recognition. So, like, hopefully, like, that is horrible. Huh?
They were non-binary.
They were non-binary, okay. Okay.
I don't remember what you said.
Huh?
You're talking about the same one? Next?
Yeah.
Non-binary.
Okay. But that non-binary student, hopefully some change comes out of that. And they see, like, all of these things that they're doing right now are, like, horrible, and they make changes. But it shouldn't come to that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have to come to that for change to happen and to things to get moving. But unfortunately, in communities that are like this, I mean, it takes stuff like that. Shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
But then you have, like, oh, this happened to this white person. Oh, everybody come on, let's go donate, let's go do these things. Oh my gosh, like, we're gonna go. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And then, especially I mean, you hear all the time, like, of like, profiling, and it's not okay. Like, it's just, yeah. I'm gonna get off my soapbox before I get too deep.
Well, also, like, hopping up on the soapbox, the cops, during the case, like, after he was murdered, they were just like, oh, it's enchanted. Are we gonna scan the room? Find this camera that wasn't, like, very clearly in there? No, it's fine.
My thing is, like, how
this
long?
Teenager who was drugged and clearly concussed. Ah, she did it. That must be the one.
Which, she goes back into the crime scene. How long was that there?
Yeah. Exactly, right?
How long was that there?
It's like, how long were they just leaving everything there in this room?
Answer?
Between when he was murdered and when she, like, gets back in there.
It was only a couple days.
Was it?
It feels so much longer.
It feels so much
feels
longer.
because we were all being made to feel crazy.
Yeah.
But it was only a couple days.
Oh. But okay, I mean, that makes more sense then.
It felt like years.
It felt like a long time.
It felt like a long time.
Give me a raise and I will.
Oh?
Okay, brilliant!
But if it was only a couple days, that does make sense why they didn't mind that, maybe. But I still feel like
they could have been
should've.
doing more.
Yeah.
It's like,
but then they were like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, your friend Gab, we can't find her anywhere. The person doesn't exist.
she's not real.
But, like, my thing is you should be able to look up that person and, like, this is her dad.
Yeah,
like,
and why weren't they looking at his phone records if she's saying they were texting and all this stuff was going on? It's like, why didn't you pull those? Why weren't you doing... Like, why weren't you looking at his computer? He has all these cameras everywhere. Why weren't they looking at that?
If it was a couple days, I would assume in a murder investigation that they would speed some things up. But it does take a while to get phone records sometimes.
Yeah.
In, like, the true crime realm. Because you do have to, like, subpoena them.
Yeah, it
and
has
all
to
that.
be done legally.
Yeah, so,
Through
like,
certain channels.
I'm sure, like, if you would have had enough time. But she had to turn herself in, like, the day she got
they
caught.
were like... When it's getting to that final few chapters, it's like she has to turn herself in because they think they have enough to charge her. But it's like you've got that giant footprint that's unaccounted for. They're like, not going to ask any questions about that. There's only partial prints on the knife of hers, but there's like definitely prints of someone else. And they're like, that's fine. But it's like, it's definitely this child. She is the murderer. It's like, no.
Well, celebrity cases tend to be pushed faster.
Yeah.
So that's probably what was going on. But we also have to remember that this is a fictional story.
Yeah.
And police aren't that incompetent most of the time.
Most of the time. Wasn't Amber's body still in the... Wasn't somebody else murdered in the room?
No, Melissa was the wig.
Melissa was the wig. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I forget that she called the wig Melissa, and I was like, what? Why is Melissa still doing
I wasn't talking about all cops. I was talking about these specific cops in this case being bonkers.
Well, it's a fictional story. The author may not know a crap ton of police jargon and police procedural stuff. So, I mean, I'm going to give it a little bit of,
Yeah.
you know.
But for our purposes here, we are mad about these plot holes.
Yes. I'm mad about plot holes.
And the racism that contributed to the plot holes.
Indeed.
Just let us get on our soapbox, Carrie.
Okay, get on your soapbox. Shout out to our police, though, because they're pretty good. Pretty great. Our friends.
Yes. RPD. Good.
Carrie wants to have opinions. She can get on camera and have them.
What?
Carrie wants to have strong opinions. She can get on camera and have them.
No, thank you.
Okay.
You'll just hear mobile in the background, so nobody's gonna. Number 17.
We learn about several other girls that Corey has abused. Discuss his pattern of abusive behavior. What similarities do these girls have? In what ways is Enchanted the same? And how is she different?
I mean,
Most of them have the long hair.
yeah.
Because he loves the long hair.
Mm-hmm.
They're all underage.
Yeah.
Enchanted doesn't have the long hair, but he gets her the wig.
Mm-hmm. He calls all of them
Bright eyes.
Bright eyes.
Mm-hmm. His one trick that apparently convinces everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Have we talked about the Stockholm victim?
Oh, the one that went after her?
Mm-hmm.
No.
And how the wife looks remarkably like Enchanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True. Because the wife also has the short hair, and Enchanted's got the short hair.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why he was like, oh, Enchanted's different. I'm gonna go freaking bonkers now at the end.
Yeah.
To the point where my manager's going to murder me.
Yeah. Yeah, what was Richie? Was he just like a dude?
He was a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I was doing the documentary.
Into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
But at this point, I think he's just a friend.
Okay.
And a murderer.
And a murderer. Indeed.
Maybe.
Largely.
Mostly.
Well, you just see him stab him once. So, I mean, he could have stabbed him more times, but then Enchanted could have stabbed him the majority of the times because he was still moving when Enchanted got him.
Well, I think she said that she gets like one shot in. I remember wobbling to my feet, grabbing the knife, and plunging it into his chest. I remember collapsing to the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, depending on where she got him in the chest, because Richie could have just got him in, like... Because I got Richie's gonna be like, I know where to stab a man. Who knows?
We don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the fun part. You don't know who did it.
But
Yeah.
Who really did it.
But also the great thing is, Richie's the one who needed to be in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enchanted was a victim.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we are also in a system where victims are punished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, victim blaming is a real thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's another thing.
But luckily she isn't blamed at
No.
the end.
She ends up getting out of it because of the
Yeah.
video.
Mm-hmm.
Good old flounder video dying.
Okay. Don't move
All
on
right.
to this because it's probably going to be the longest part of this video.
Last one! Brace yourselves, people. What famous men in real life do you think Corey is based on? What specific similarities did you notice? Do you just want to...
R. Kelly. R. Kelly. Like, there is a reason why, well, at the end of this book, she says mute motherfucking R. Kelly. Like, R.
Like,
Kelly,
it's not only him. You definitely see signs in other people, and it's not just like a direct, this is R. Kelly's life, but we just changed the name.
Yeah, because they do talk about Michael Jackson, but, like, there are so many things. Because you're not well-versed on... Carrie, did you watch Surviving R. Kelly? It's so good. Sophia, did you? so good. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, everybody. It's like a 3-part thing.
I don't have Netflix.
Y'all, get Mandy to pay for a shelter Netflix.
If we're getting Mindy to pay for more things, I'd like to be personally paid more.
Same.
Let's get our priorities in line here.
Pay our advocates more. But Netflix.
Zoe, give us your Netflix login.
Yeah, but doesn't it?
We can watch it
But
on
not
our phone.
on camera right now.
Wait, what?
We can watch it on our phones.
Oh, does it not count on the phone? I'll give you guys my Netflix password. I'll give you guys my Netflix
Well, if it'll
password.
work on phones, then I'll just use my mom's.
Okay.
Oh, well, then yeah, you can know.
I'll give you my Netflix password, Carrie.
Okay, I appreciate that.
No problem. Anyway, in this documentary, you see him, he goes on a show. That's how he's like originally discovered. He's in a group. So he gets famous with his group. I think it's called MGM. And he wins a lot of money, and they break up because the money can't.
We're talking real R. Kelly now.
Yeah,
Okay,
real R. Kelly.
gotcha.
They break up because they can't decide where the money's gonna go, and then like the year after, somewhere around there, he goes like platinum. Starts making all of this music. You start seeing him making these like all of his songs are like very sexually complicit, like very like I'm talking
Explicit?
about explicit, not complicit. Sorry, we were talking about complicity, but like. You start seeing these things, and like he did like Corey like come from a very poor background. I can't remember if he was raised by his grandmother or not, but like they were very poor background, and he did and they talk about like Corey at the end when they're talking about celebrating his life. Like how he did all this different things. He was a philanthropist. He did these things for the black community, and R. Kelly did do a lot of things for the black community, but he was also a predator. Aaliyah, which a lot of people know Aaliyah, he married her at 15. She was 15 and he was 27, and they ended up getting the marriage annulled. And
Sorry.
oh, Mandy. Mandy's a pop-up so like, literally disgusting, and people knew about it. And, like, you have all of these girls who are coming in, he's going to these schools, he's, like, meeting them at McDonald's, he's going in, and and all of these girls are seeing it, and they're, like, shocked. And he's like, oh, bring your friends. So he's doing what he's doing with Enchanted, and he's like, oh, bring your friend. And he's promising them, oh, I'm going to get you big, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to, like, get all of these different things, I'm going to make you this career because I have my own producing label now. And he's having sex with them here, he's having sex with them there, and all of these people are ignoring it. You have all of these people who see these things and hear these things, and they just ignore it. And then everybody knows about the video that came out of him peeing on the underage girl, and like she was so traumatized by it. She did what Enchanted did and said that was not me. And then this horrible thing happens where it becomes a joke to so many different people. You see Dave Chappelle, who is like a very prominent black comedian. He makes fun of it on his show, like has tanks of pee and is spraying it on people as R. Kelly. You see it joked about in South Park. You see it joked about all these different places, and it's horrible because this is an underage child, and you have all of these people like during her trial who were saying, this is my friend. I know that it's my friend, and she's saying it's not. But like at the time I think the trial happened, they kept pushing it off until she was an adult then. So you don't look at a child, you see a grown woman sitting there. It was just all of these different things that worked out in his favor, and it was horrible, and was made into a joke, and people were just kind of like, oh, okay, because he got let off from that. And he had this huge mansion like Corey, where I know, I'm shedding. I'm sorry, you're like moving the hair.
It got stuck in the book.
I have
like,
no idea how
Where
it
did
got
come
in the
from?
book. But he had this huge mansion like Corey, like making people go in the bucket, making people go and like sit in the mansion. R. Kelly did that. He had all these
I
welfare
don't want to watch
checks.
this show anymore.
he did these things. He had these videotapes.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, his brother, and I can't remember which brother it was one of his older ones, he was in jail during the documentary, talked about how, these videos of R. Kelly and these girls were coming out, and R. Kelly was like, you can make your own music and I'll give you money if you say that's even not me, but this underage girl. Yeah. All these different things. It was crazy. And he was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. And, like, then R. Kelly's PR team was like, nope, that is him. Sorry, blah, 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 blah. And just, it's such a good expose of what he did. And you see all of these, like, strong women coming forward. Some of these women, and the thing that R. Kelly did, he's started going after older people, like people who were, like, barely 18, people who, like, 19, 20, but still there's that significant age gap that you are dealing with, because we talked about that power dynamic.
Things.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
That power dynamic that we talked about earlier with these women, because he started learning, but then he has videotapes, because his brother talked about how he borrowed a tape from R. Kelly, and it was a sex tape that he had taped over, and it was a child, and he just, like, got rid of it. Ugh. Admitted that in the documentary.
Oh my god.
Crazy. But, and then they try to make you feel bad for him, because R. Kelly, I think one of the people in the show, I can't remember who it was, but he, and you see it in news articles too, where R. Kelly was like, I don't know how to read.
Wait, was the show anti-R. Kelly, or trying
to
help R. Kelly?
His brothers were trying to, like, they were, like, on the fence with it, but all the other people...
Okay.
But, like, they were basically, yeah, but he's messed up, but this is why. That was from the brothers' point of view.
Gotcha.
But all the women were
like, the overall narrative
was he's bad.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But they talked about, like, how he was assaulted, and that's why he was the way he was, and how they were assaulted in their neighborhood. And then one of the women was saying that R. Kelly was like, oh, feel bad for me, I can't read. And he, Corey did that with swimming. To, like, oh, I can't swim.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But then he got mad.
And then he got mad.
When she tried to help him.
Yeah.
He probably does know how to swim.
He probably
He's
does.
a liar.
But it's just all of these different things that were horrible. That, like, there were so many things. I have notes in this book. Like, you guys can see my tabbies.
Yes.
You guys can... That I was like, oh my god. This is R. Kelly, this is R. Kelly. But... with this movement, they muted R. Kelly. Like, you don't hear, unless it's just, like, a privately owned thing, you don't hear him on the radio. You don't hear him... It's like he's off Spotify, I think the last time I checked.
I'm not on Spotify.
But he was, for a long time. He was off Spotify, he was off Pandora, he was off. And just all of these different things. But then, like, he's still getting headlines. Like, he released an album from jail, like... all of these things. He even wrote a song. Oh, my phone's in there. But he wrote a song. It's filming YouTube. He wrote a song about him molesting kids. And got out there. Carrie. Yes, he did. He did. I know, their faces right now are like...
Hey?
He did. He did. It's, I can't remember what... I think it's called I Didn't Do It or something like that by R. Kelly.
Liar!
And he's like, maybe those little girls... Blah, 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 blah. I wish so... I don't have it. But, like, literally writes about it, and he's like, okay, thank you.
Oh my god. Terrifying.
I don't even know what, it's called I Admit.
I don't think it's a good idea for him to admit. That sounds like a poor choice.
It's 19 minutes long.
Oh my god.
What?
It's 19 minutes long. Yeah, so he tries to make you feel bad for him. Like, I didn't go to classes, I dropped out of school. He admits to, like, having sex with a couple fans. Told so many lies to these broads. Too many lies. Blew so much money. Popped so many bottles. Yeah, I fucked a bitch just because. Where is it?
You maybe shouldn't be admitting to crimes.
I admit I can't spell for shit. Where is it? It's so much temptation, but wait. And mental, the drinking, the smoking too much. It helped me through the day. Won't say no name. I'm not a snitch. But one night at the Ritz, I did some shit I shouldn't have did. At the Ritz, shouldn't have did. Where is it?
I bought these just to send y'all gifts. LOL. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you, Mandy.
Yay.
Like actual money?
I guess.
Really? Ooh, maybe we'll get money this time.
But
We made 8 cents
I'm
That
trying
one
to
time.
find-
a few months ago.
Heck yeah.
I think it was that the Twilight one or the Midnight Moon
Here it is.
monstrosity.
I admit I fuck with all the ladies. That's both older and young ladies. Ladies, yeah. But tell me how they call it pedophile, because that shit is crazy. You may have your opinions, entitled to your opinions, but really, am I supposed to go to jail and lose my career because of your opinion? Yeah, go ahead and stone me, point your finger at me, turn the world against me, but only God can mute me.
It's
literally
not an
admits to
opinion
being-
when it's the law.
Literally admits to being a pedophile, and he's like, no.
It's just your opinion codified into law.
But, like, literally, he was so narcissistic that he's just like, whatever. Michael Jackson, because they make so many comparisons to him and Michael Jackson. Today, like, I don't think you will ever get a mute Michael Jackson, because you're not going to get the same effect as you would with R. Kelly. Oh, yeah, thank you, Carrie. You can look over the rest of that 19-minute song. But I don't think you will ever get a mute Michael Jackson, because you're not going to get the same effect that you
we
did.
had cowboy hats for a second. Thanks, Mandy.
You're not going to get the same effect that you do with R. Kelly, because R. Kelly's alive. He has a legacy to lose.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, like, yeah, he has all of these songs he recorded. He has all of these things. Like, you see, like, the concerts of, like, him, AI, Michael Jackson.
Well, that show, Finding Neverland, came out.
Leaving.
I'm
Leaving
enjoying
Neverland.
this too. Leaving Neverland. What did I say?
It was, I don't know what you said.
Okay.
It's Leaving Neverland.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
two
what I
Michael
meant.
Jackson's victims.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about, and, like, it shows, like, overwhelming evidence. The same thing happened, like, did with R. Kelly, and, like, what he did to his victims of, like, I'm gonna groom them and their parents, make them feel safe, and then they're gonna come with me to Neverland. So they got, and he was around for so much longer than R. Kelly. He did so many things, and
He had a significantly larger career than
Yes.
R. Kelly.
and worked with so many different artists. And R. Kelly worked with huge artists. He worked with Lady Gaga. He worked with I cannot remember her name. She was really big though. But, like, all of these different really big people. And with R. Kelly, they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you take my songs off with him. I don't want to work with him anymore. I'm so sorry for working with him. But then you have all of these different people who worked with Michael Jackson. And, like, do you go all the way back in his discography? Do you go back?
Well, there's
from
so
when
many
he was-
people that still deny that it ever happened.
Yeah, even with the evidence. So
Yeah.
it's just like,
Not just the evidence, but if you've ever watched Leaving Neverland,
yeah.
the hurt
Yeah.
in those men's eyes
Yeah.
as they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, I watched it when it was out. Like, they did the whole big, like, screening of it. And it was me and my mom watching it, just like, oh my gosh. Because they made it, like, a huge thing. It's something I don't think you will ever mute Michael Jackson. Because, like, he's just gonna keep going.
Yeah. Sadly.
But I think, my phone's there. But he worked with all of these big artists, and like some of the artists that he worked with aren't with us anymore, too. So I don't think you're ever gonna have like, oh yeah, just take him off. You go do that, because he's still generating money for people, even in death.
Yeah.
Oh no. I was continuing to read them.
Oh.
It's like,
She's
oh,
still
no,
reading
he
the
died.
19-minute song from R. Kelly.
Now, I admit a family member touched me. From a child to the age of 14. While I lay to sleep, took my virginity.
Ah.
What?
Oh, so that must have... What happened to Corey when he was 14?
Yeah. Well, not the exact
Not
same
the
way,
family, but...
Another one that I noticed throughout the book was Kanye.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot... Corey suddenly got very religious, and it's like, where did this come from?
Talking about a woman's place, and like how... It was just like, oh!
And then... The house in Atlanta was described as, like, very... Like, white, like a museum, very clean, like, nobody lived there. Like, spooky, and if you're a Keeping Up with the Kardashians fan, you know what Kim and Kanye's house looked like. It's like, okay, I see what you're doing there, Tiffany. I gotcha.
Yep. I wasn't ever a Keeping Up with the Kardashians fan, so that's why you know more about Kanye than I do. But, like, I do know... He is very narcissistic. Like, that's just a Kanye thing. Like, going up and storming the stage during, like, Taylor getting her thing. Then he, like, for whatever reason, has this super big grudge against Taylor Swift. Yeah. But then, didn't he dress as a bush when he left Kim Kardashian to stalk her?
You keep saying that. I don't remember
Carrie,
that.
Did he dress as a bush to stalk Kim Kardashian?
Kanye?
Yeah.
No idea. I don't pop culture.
Can you look it up?
I remember there was a part on Keeping Up with the Kardashians where, like, Kim was hiding in a bush to, like, watch him and their daughter play or something.
I'm really sure he was, like, dressed as a bush.
Because he was saying he, like, didn't want to be on the show, so she was, like, hiding in a bush recording. Their whole thing was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean... It says it's fake news.
Dang.
I'm sorry.
Dang. That was so ingrained into my brain because I was like, what a freaking psychopath!
Yeah, you've talked about that a few times here during book club.
Yeah. Well, I was spreading fake news. I'm sorry.
I can't believe it. Just shut this whole operation down.
That does seem like something you would do, though. It does. Like, he's freaking... He's a little weird. He did drop a really good track with his daughter, though.
I am not the biggest Kanye fan,
not.
especially after everything that happened with Kim. Like, after they split up, it's like, no. And then also all the anti-Semitism. It's just like,
sure, it's really bad.
No.
But did you hear the song that he helped North make? And it's like, it's your bestie, Mrs. Westie. It was really cute. It was all over TikTok, but it was, like, good for her for, like, getting out of there, because she's adorable, but, like, everything else he did.
Yeah.
But then you see crap like that, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's, like, being a good dad.
Yeah, it doesn't count when you're, like, actively stalking their mom still.
Yeah. But isn't he married again? He got married really quick.
Well, Corey was married the whole time.
Yeah.
That didn't stop him from being awful.
But he's married again, I think.
I don't know. I've stopped paying attention.
Yeah.
Alright, any more famous men you'd like to scream about?
Yeah, he didn't dress as a bush or hide in the bushes, but he did buy a house, like, extremely close to her
Oh, okay.
to be, like, right there, which is still gross.
Yeah.
Alright,
I don't think I have anything else. I mean, I went off on my R. Kelly rant. Watch Leaving Neverland. I don't know what you can watch that on. I know you can watch Surviving R. Kelly.
It was on HBO, I think, so it's probably on Max. If it's still there, who knows?
And then watch Surviving R. Kelly, because that is on Netflix. If Carrie, I'm going to give you my Netflix, so I can give you
Okay.
Okay, it is on Max. Carrie confirmed. I'm gonna give you my Netflix so you can watch Surviving R. Kelly. It's so good. It's so good. And then during the show, they get a couple people out of there. During filming.
Nice.
But I think a cool part of this would have also been, because in R. Kelly's case, there were people who also did go down with him, because they were like, oh god, you helped with that, okay. But that doesn't really happen in here, because the book just kind of ends.
Yes.
But that was interesting. What are we reading next month? Neither of us have our book. I mean, I have my book
Kindle.
on my Kindle.
Yeah.
I don't have my Kindle with me.
Next month, we are reading... Well, this month. It's March already.
Yeah.
This month, we are reading... I'll make sure I get the name right.
I'm glad.
I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy.
Which is... Ooh.
It's Sophia.
Sophia! Yay! I'm so excited to read it. I heard so many good things about it. But I'm also not excited to read it because of all of the different things that we're gonna have to talk about next month.
It'll be a real adventure.
I bought that on Amazon, and my mom was like, "What did you just buy?" What? It's like, this is for book club, Mom. This is for book club.
Sheila said she's excited about it because she said she's still seeing it on like top selling list.
Yeah, I mean it is, and I mean they canceled the reboot of iCarly, right? Because I know in the book she talks about them trying to get her to go back to iCarly.
I don't know.
After all of that,
I wasn't really paying attention to the reboot, so.
But and it's weird how iCarly comes back. It really is, because like right now on TikTok, it's the Spencer memes, which are so funny. I love Spencer.
So excited to use that for promoting book club this month.
I love Spencer.
Like, I'm gonna be crazy.
I know, you see, someday we'll change.
Spencer was really the best character on that show.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, it got 3 seasons.
It got 3 seasons and it's off now.
Yeah, it got canceled after 3.
It deserved to be canceled. But, yeah, it's gonna be good. I am very excited for all the Spencer memes that are gonna ensue. I definitely feel like I am either a Spencer core or a Gibby core. Everybody likes Gibby.
No, no, it wasn't Gibby. It was the other kid that I really didn't like because he was screaming all the time.
Yeah.
The rich one?
Yeah.
The snobby one.
Yeah.
I think in the new series, does she end up marrying the snobby rich one? Isn't he in the new series?
I haven't seen any of the new one.
Yeah.
Carly marries Freddie. Right?
I don't know.
No, well, she was gonna get married to somebody else, right?
Oh my god.
Oh god, I haven't watched it. I don't know.
Oh. Just deciphering tea. What did they say happened to her in that show?
To Sam?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look it up, Carrie.
Okay.
She's our behind-the-scenes producer.
Yes.
It's all for real. So tell me just how you feel.
Sophia's over there like, yeah. Did they just not talk about Sam?
It's crap.
It wouldn't surprise me if they just didn't talk about her.
Well, in the Lizzie McGuire movie, did they talk about her friend? Not Gordo?
She ends up getting with Gordo, doesn't she?
Yeah. But
I'm
then,
just
like,
talking
the
about her
friend wasn't in, like, her BFF was not in the movie
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then I think in the remake, because they were going to reboot it at one point, and then it got, like, canceled before it really went anywhere.
Yeah.
They were talking about how, like, the friend and Gordo weren't going to be involved in the show.
They simply say that she joined a biker gang.
She joined a biker gang.
Okay. I mean,
Okay.
that tracks for Sam.
Okay. But, like, my thing is like, because she got together with Freddie, right? And iCarly.
I think they kissed once. But I don't think...
I think they were dating there for a
I
minute.
think they were dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sophia.
It's been so long.
You're the youngest.
That doesn't mean she even watched it.
Did you watch iCarly?
Yeah.
Oh.
So doesn't Sam and Freddie get together?
Mm-hmm.
Does it end with them together?
No.
No.
I'm pretty sure it turns into. Is it not Carly and him?
I thought it was Carly and him at the end of the original show.
Because I know he like simps for her the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up like him and they kissed or something like that and kept it from Carly, and then Carly found out and all that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think they were at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna have to rewatch all of iCarly before
Maybe.
this? Like
All of iCarly and Sam and Cat.
Yeah.
We're gonna have so
Sam
much
and Cat.
required watching.
Sam and Cat. She talks about that a lot because she hates Ariana Grande.
Have you started reading already? Because I have not started yet.
No, I just know from what people have talked. She hates Ariana Grande because Ariana like it was supposed to be a show for Jennette McCurdy, and Ariana Grande just got like woo because Jennette McCurdy she sang and she did all that stuff too, but like Ariana Grande was the one who they were like ooh, and she just got boosted.
Well, because her music career was really taking off, so they're like, this is guaranteed to get us more eyes on it.
Yep. So Jennette McCurdy was just kind of left in the dust, and she said she was like a huge brat during the entire thing.
Well,
which you're like
tracks.
with all the stuff, it tracks with
everything we know about
Have
Ariana Grande.
Have you seen that video? Who's the guy she's with now? Who played SpongeBob?
Ethan Slater, I think.
Yeah,
is his name.
Have you seen that where he's like talking about? Oh, she's just been great. It's like, oh no, but he's like, just like that. And it's like, please stop! I'm gonna kill myself right now. No.
Such a Broadway boy.
Yep. Oh, but yeah, I'm excited over this book. I'm probably gonna want to go fight somebody that works for Nickelodeon, but Nickelodeon doesn't exist anymore, right? Because they got bought out.
And I get to sit in this chair for a second.
No.
Nickelodeon still exists.
No, no, I think it's like under somebody now.
Well, I mean, Paramount, I think, owns it, because it's on Paramount.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
Like, all the Nickelodeon shows are on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
So, Paramount might own Nickelodeon, but I think Nickelodeon still exists.
Okay. Did you see the Super Bowl commercial? They like kill Kenny, and they use Arnold as a football. Yeah.
I remember seeing Arnold as a football. I don't remember killing Kenny.
Yeah, they killed Kenny. They're like, oh my god, they killed Kenny.
Kenny always gets killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we got off topic. Mandy's probably like out of here, like totally done with y'all.
There's only two of us, and I think me's one of them.
Well,
That was it.
We're gonna be
Reading Jennette McCurdy's book.
Yep. Alright, anything else to talk about?
No.
Alright, bye!
Bye.
Oh, bye to YouTube too!
Bye.
Bye all
YouTube.
the people!
I think
We'll
we just
see you next
focused
time.
on this camera, so we're gonna be like looking over here
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah. Next time we have to turn that one around. That way we can see ourselves.
Yeah.
Talk to
I was using
ourselves
the back
and the
camera because the back camera's better,
Okay.
right?
I don't know. We're doing front camera on all these. If we're gonna do back camera, we've got to remember to look at them.
We need
We
a mirror.
can't ignore the YouTubers.
Or put them closer together.
Or, hopefully, by next month, we'll have at least 50 YouTube subscribers. All you people here, go subscribe to our YouTube. That way we can have 50 subscribers so we can be live there and just run both lives at the same time.
Ooh. How fancy.
Yeah. Then we'll have to turn that one around. That way we can see all the
Yeah.
comments. If anyone watches.
I feel like YouTube is gonna, until we get like Markiplier famous, is not gonna do anything. Maybe we can get Markiplier to pity us.
But if we can have it live there, then we don't have to upload a whole hour-and-a-half long video.
My phone's vibrating, so I don't know if it's recording anymore.
Okay, bye and bye.
Bye.
We're done.
Bye.
Adios. Sayonara.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Bye.